RE is a module, okay, which will include the multiple regular expression. Inside the RE module, you can also use a multiple methods, classes, and the function as well. So RE is one a inbuilt module. Actually, if you want to use RE, just you have to import RE in your program. After that, you will be able to use the RE functionality in your whole programs. So this is a one module actually you have to use in case of regular expression. Now the point is inside the RE module, okay, if you want to import an RE module, so you can import using the normal method import, okay, and RE. That's how you can simply do. Actually, what is RE? So support for the regular expressions, right? And now this module will provide the regular expression matching operations similar to those found in Perl as well, okay, because the regular expression of the Python is very similar to the Perl regular expression as well. There's a multiple type of regular expression you would be able to find out here. What I'm talking about, if you will discuss about the RE, just look at this. So all these are the regular expressions. So these are the special character which is used to create a template for your regular expression. So we'll discuss few of them as well. Okay, just this is the one example dot. Okay, so dot is a one greedy, you can simply say dot actually will match any single character except a new line. We will use the caret sign, we will use a dollar, asterisk, plus, question mark. So huge number of regular expression you can simply use. Somewhere you're going to use a pipe and the square bracket as well. Okay, each and every regular expression have a different functionality. So I'm going to explore all of them. So the first point, so let's suppose if I want to create a one program, okay, just you have to understand the basic functionality. So what I'm going to do here, so the first of all, let's suppose if I have a store a one name here. Okay, either you can also take a user input. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a one user input here. Inside the user input, I'm going to put the enter anything, what a user want, right? Enter anything. So I'm going to take a input from a user and one user will give you the input. So you're going to store that particular input inside the user input. This is the one variable. Now after that, what you are trying to do, so let me open the chat as well. Okay, if you're gonna face any doubt, you can simply drop your queries into the chat box. Now, once you will take a user input from the user one, I'm gonna execute my program. So if you want to search a one specific character inside the user input, okay. So to search a specific character, so you would be able to use a multiple methods. What I'm talking about, either you can simply use a match, okay. So there's a multiple method you can simply use. We will also use a search. You can also use the find and the find all, find iter. So you would be able to use a multiple methods according to the different requirement. Now, if you want to match any specific character in your string, just first of all, if I'm going to use a match, so match is a one function, okay, which is defined inside the RE module, okay. And now using the match, it will try to apply the pattern at the starting of the string, okay. You can simply match a particular pattern, okay, from starting of the screen to the end. That's how the match functionalities work. And now if you will discuss about the RE, just look at this. So inside the RE, just you can use all these type of regular expression, okay. So I'm gonna explore all of them. I'm gonna tell you all of them as well. So there are some special character as well. What I'm talking about, just backward slash W and the backward slash D and the backward slash capital D, capital W. So all the other special complement of the regular expression, and these are the functions inside the module you can simply use. So this module will export the following function: match, full match, search, sub. So these are the multiple function you can use according to the different requirement, okay. Just I'm gonna take in one example, few of them, or the remaining function just you can simply do at your own for the practice session. Now, the first of all, let's suppose when I'm going to take an input from a user, or instead of taking input from a user, we can also just define this variable. Or inside the variable, if I'm going to put in normal XYZ, this is what I'm trying to do. Okay, this is the one string I have stored inside the user input. Now, the point when you are trying to call a match, so it will take a few number of arguments. The first argument should be pattern, and the type of the pattern should be any string. What does it mean? So, what do you want to search inside your string? And the second argument should be a string. What does it mean? Where you want to search that particular pattern. So these are the things you have to return there. So let's suppose the first thing I'm going to put the pattern here, and the second I want to search inside the user input, because the user input I have already stored the XYZ. So I want to search a specific pattern inside the XYZ. What do you want to search? You can use any regular expression just inside the double quote. Okay, that particular regular expression or the pattern should be a string. From where you will get this information? From the match. So let's suppose if I'm gonna type D here. Okay, so actually, or A here. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to search A inside the XYG. Actually, I'm trying to search at the starting of the XYG as well, because I'm trying to use a match. Whatever it will return to you, just you can store inside the data. And after that, I'm trying to print the data, what it will give you. So let me say, let's execute the program. Just look at the result. Just reduce the terminal. That's cool. And the program name, what I need to execute. So the Python 3 and the first.py. Just look at this. What you are getting here, I will get the none here. What does it mean? Because you are not able to search A inside the XYG. This is a very pretty forward regular expression what I have used. Instead of A, if I'm going to mention the X here, okay, now you would be able to find out the X inside the user input. When I'm going to execute the same program again, just look at this. Now it will return a one match object here. Just look at this, is the one object it will return inside the data. Inside the data, it will return that particular X has been found on top of this index, 0 index. Okay, if we have a specific range, so you will get the whole range here of what you are trying to match. So this is a particular character which is matched in your user template. Okay, that's how it works. Now the point is, I'm trying to use a match. Instead of this, you can also use a dot. What is the meaning of the dot? Match any characters except a new line. So just I can also put the dot here. So when I'm going to put the dot, so it can search any pattern here. Okay, it can search any value. It could be anything. So this time it will also return the same thing. Just look at this. It will also try to search as X on top of 0. Why it will trying to search only one character? Because you have put dot one time. If I'm gonna put a dot two time here, what does it mean? So now it will try to search two number of characters. The type of characters could be anything. What, as already mentioned inside the RE module, it will match any character except the new line. Just execute this, and now it will match the XY. Okay, and from index 0 to 2. What does it mean? 0 to 1. That's the very basic thing you have to understand. So this is a one match function I have used here. Now the point, let's suppose if you want to match a specific thing instead of the dot and the dot, you can also match anything else. Let's suppose if I want to match a SAC. Okay, so these are the three characters I want to match inside the user input. But at this time, I will not take this user input. When I'm going to execute my program, so user input will be take from the user. That's what I'm trying to do. I want to match SAC. That's fine, no issue. I'm going to execute my program. I'm going to type SACHIN. The SAC has been matched successfully, no issue. I'm going to type the different name here. So it will return a none because match expression would not be able to find this pattern. The one more thing, if I'm going to return this particular thing, I'm going to return my reverse name. So now just let me know it will search or not. Into the chat box, it will return none or it will match the SAC from here. You can simply drop your answers into the chat box, guys. What you are able to understand. Okay, it will try to match the SAC. Actually, it will return the none. Okay, some of you have give the answer that it will none in the match as well, because just if already is mentioned, in case of match, okay, what it will do for you, if you are trying to say, try to apply the pattern at the starting of the string. What does it mean? Actually, it will try to search the pattern from the starting of the string. So if the starting of the string is from SAI, okay, that's why it will not match. So if you want to match at the between of the string as well, then instead of using match function, you have to use a different function there. What function you have to use? Actually, let me execute first of all. Just look at this. It will give you the none, right? So if you want to match your string in the between as well, then you can simply use a search function there. What it will do for you, just look at the definition. Scan through the string looking for a match to the pattern. Return a match object or none if no match value is found. So this is one basic definition you can simply look at here. What search will do for you. So now the point, if I'm gonna execute again my same program, just I have mentioned the search here. So let me execute just the previous input what I have gave here, Sani and the Sachin. So now my search function is able to match a SAC inside my user input. And now on which index? On 6 index, 6 to 8 index. Okay, that's how it look like. How many characters you have matched? SAC. So that's how it's work, guys. Let me execute one more time. If I'm going to mention these parameters, that's cool, no issue. Okay, at the last, if I want to match SAC, okay, or I'm gonna, this is the one thing what I have done, just execute it, still able to match SAC at the last of your string as well. But the point is, if I'm gonna mention the double dot, so what does it mean? So if I'm gonna execute, just look at this, guys, I'm gonna execute this again. I'm gonna mention, right, okay, okay, so this is a one string I'm trying to execute here. Okay, so just let me know when I'm going to execute this program. Okay, this is a whole string which I'm trying to pass inside the re.search. Now it will return a match object, it will return a search object, or it will return a none here. You can drop your queries. Okay, just try to understand again, because if you have remember, this is the one dot is used, so it will try to match any single character. So what does it mean? No, actually it will not return any object here. Just look at this, it will return the none. What, why? Because you have to match this time 5 number of characters. This is the one thing you have to understand, because the first 3 characters should be SAC. Exactly, you have to match 3 number of character, and the all 3 characters should be these characters SAC, and the remaining 2 character could be anything. It could be space and the special character as well. Just look at this. If I'm gonna mention the random input, and at the end, if I'm gonna give the double space and the 2, so actually after the SAC, just I have mentioned a 1 space and the 2 as well. Okay. So these are the 2 characters just I have entered after the SAC. And now these are all are the 5 characters. And now this particular template will be matched this particular string. I'm going to execute. Just look at this. Now this particular string has been matched SAC space and the 2, because you are trying to match the along with the dot. What's the meaning of the dot? It will try to match any number of characters, but that particular character should be a single. So now this guy, that's how it's work, guys. Let's move ahead. Okay, so this is a very basic thing what I'm trying to understanding. Okay, now you have to understand the multiple level expressions as well, dot and the dollar and all these things. Now let's take in a one good program instead of this one. So let me create a one more program inside the program. So what I'm going to trying to create here, so let's create a new file. I'm going to authenticate a email. Okay, if you will discuss about the email authentications. Okay, so just you have to understand the basic concept. So first of all, I'm going to import the RE. Okay, and now just there's the few sort of rules for the email, right? What type of rule I'm talking about? At should be contained, okay, in email, right? There's a one more thing, just you can only accept underscore, okay, 123 and the ABC. These are the only thing you can simply accept inside the email address. Okay, so you cannot accept the asterisk inside the email address, or either you can also accept the dot as well. So these are the some sort of rules. Actually, at least, okay, username of the email should be greater than 5 characters, or the greater than or equal to the 5 characters. So these type of things actually you have to manage when you are trying to create a one template, when you want to take a email from a user. So all these conditions should be matched. Okay, these type of thing. Okay, and if you will discuss about the domain, okay, the domain should be accepted, Gmail, Yahoo, okay, and the skill center. So these type of domain should be accepted. Okay, so now this is what I'm trying to do here. Let's move forward. Now you can also add multiple the subdomain. You can also add .com, okay, .in, .co, .in, so .org. So these type of thing you can simply accept all these inside the email. So these are some sort of rules I have written here. Now the point is, if I want to create a regular expression template here to match my email, so for that what I'm gonna trying to do, just before that, just I'm trying to create a one program. Okay, and inside the program, just this is a very basic program what I'm trying to create. My program will execute until the user will not type the exit, right? So just I can simply create this program. while user input not equal to exit. Okay, just again and again it will take input from a user, enter email, that's cool. Okay, now this is what I have done. So when a user will give you the exit, your program will terminate. That's what I have done. Let me execute Python and the email I have done. And now when I'm gonna type anything, that's fine. So your program is execute multiple time until you will not type the exit. When I'm gonna type the exit here, so my program will be terminated. So that's how my program is works. Now the one more thing you have to understand, now we have to create a one email authentication program using the regular expression and what type of rules you're gonna use inside the regular expression. So these are the few examples what I have written here. When you are trying to match a email address, when a user will type in case of input, just that particular email should contain all these things. Okay, so we'll also accept the multiple thing as well. Okay, just these are the few things what I have written here. So now the point is, if I want to match a one email address, so for that, just I can simply define a one condition. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm going to use a search function. Inside the search function, just you have to define the pattern, right? So either you can simply define the pattern or the template. So I will define the pattern later. So just I'm going to let it be empty right now. Okay. And you want to search this particular pattern in which string you want to search. So I want to match this particular pattern along inside the user input. So this is the one what I'm trying to access here. Each and every time when the loop will execute, first of all, it will take an input. Once you have successfully taken input from a user, after that, this particular line will be executed, and this particular pattern, whatever you're going to write here, this particular pattern will be tried to search inside the user input. If this, it will return any search object. Okay, inside the data you will get any search object here. Okay, at the time if you would not be able to match this particular pattern, so you know very well it will return the none, right? Just we can define a one condition. If data, okay, not equal to none, so this is what I'm trying to define. Just you can print the data, or either I can simply print now this is a valid email. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to do. This is a very basic thing, comma. Okay, that's cool. Now let me execute the program. This is a very basic thing what I have done, guys. Actually I didn't define any pattern until yet. Okay, so when I'm going to execute my program, so each and every time it will return, it will not return anything. Okay, it will not print a valid email. What I'm going to do here, so actually just I have defined empty, so it should be match. So it will match only the empty string. That's why it will give you the one valid email. Okay, because I didn't define any pattern. Let me exit. That's cool. Now the point is, we have to define our pattern. What pattern should I have to match? So to match the pattern, just I'm going to define the template. You know very well. So the first of all, you have to understand the one concept. So if you want to match a specific number of characters, so the first of all, what I'm going to do here, excuse me, guys, just give me a moment. Let me mute. Now that's cool. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here, so you want to search a special number of characters, or that alphabet you want to search here. Now the point, how many alphabet you can simply search here. Let's suppose if you want to search A B C D. Okay, that's cool. And now if you're going to use this particular pattern, whatever user will give you, so user should give a exact pattern A B C D in an exact way. Okay, the user would not be able to give the D before the C as well. Now the point, if you're going to write look like this, so instead of writing this particular string in this format, so what does it mean? Actually just we have to use a square brackets. Okay, and why I'm going to use a square bracket? Just look at this. A square bracket indicate a set of characters. What does it mean? Just you can put multiple characters or the range inside the square bracket, or you can simply match any pattern along with that. Okay, so I'm going to use a square bracket, and now inside this, just I can simply define any pattern A to Z. Okay, or either I can simply define A B C D E. So actually if I'm going to define until to Z, so it will take a large space here. So instead of that, you can also define a character range using the hyphen A to Z. So what does it mean? So I'm trying to match my email address, and the first thing should be A to Z. Okay, this is what I have done. Now the point is, only it will match a single characters. Let me execute, not to worry. So just look at this. So only it will match a first character and execute. That's what I have done. Now, but I don't want to search only a single character. Actually, at least I need the 5 number of characters here. So just I can define this thing. So what does it mean? And after that, I need the @ sign. After that, I want gmail.com. So these are the thing what I have defined here. Either instead of the gmail.com, you can also define something else as well. Okay. Now just let it be. If the first time you are trying to create your template or the pattern, so only you are trying to filter the @gmail.com. Okay. And at the starting, you can simply only accept the A to Z. And how many A to Z you are trying to accept, just count the number of dots. Okay, if you are able to count, there are 5 dots. Okay, the 5 dot and the first one will be the 6. So before the @ you can simply exactly accept the 6 number of characters. Now this time if I'm going to execute this program, so if I'm going to put this particular thing here, ad@gmail.com, so this time it will return, or what it will return to you, so it will return a none. That's why you would not get a valid email. What does it mean? Actually you are not satisfied the condition of the 6 number of characters. That's you actually have to match. The first character should be A to Z. So if I'm going to mention the Sachin here, that actually inside the Sachin I have used a 6 number of characters at gmail.com. Just look at this, and this mail is a valid email address right now. Okay, this is a one thing. The one more thing here, actually when you are trying to use a dot, okay, when you will use a dot, exactly you want the same number of character. This is the one drawback of using the dot. The another one, let's suppose if I'm going to mention the s, I can simply mention the @hash. Okay, or either you can also mention the space. It's your choice. Okay, so just calculate @gmail.com. So what does it mean? Now actually this time this condition is true or false. If I'm going to mention this one, 3456 @gmail.com, so this time it will return a none, or it will return a valid email address. So if I'm going to tell you, this time it will return a valid email address. What's the reason behind this? Because it will trying to match s with the help of this particular thing. Okay, but after that, instead of using the same thing, you have mentioned the 5 dots, and now you know very well the 1 dot will match a one single character, and the character could be anything apart from the /n. So and now here I have just used the hash and the space in the integer. So that's why dot has been matched with these characters. And the after that I have include that gmail.com, that's already included. That's why this is a valid email address. But you know very well, actually this is not a valid, right? So that's why instead of using dot, okay, so if I'm gonna comment this particular line here, just instead of using dot, I need a one regular expression. That particular regular expression is called a greedy regular expression. I have to use a plus. What's the meaning of the plus? So let me show you. So this is what I'm trying to use. So match one or more greedy repetitions of the preceding of the regular expression. Okay, if you are not able to understand, let me explain why the help of this particular program. So when you will use a plus sign, so what does it mean? At the before the plus, just you have used a dot, right? Actually in case of dot, it will exactly match the 5 number of characters, and the first one is the total. Exactly you will match 6 number of character before the @ but this time if you are using a plus sign, so using the plus sign, it will match until the characters range from A to Z. Okay, if you're gonna break the range from A to Z, if you're gonna mention an integer there, so it will not include there. So it will match the n character number of frame, but inside those character only you can define A to Z, because you have defined the plus sign after the this particular set. That's why I have defined this. What does it mean? So let me execute. So let me execute the program. When I'm trying to execute my program, now this email address is also valid. Just let me show you. AD Grant. Okay, I mention any n number of characters, not exactly 6, but only the one limitation here. All the characters should be between the range of A to Z. Only then it will match, otherwise not. So there's a few number of characters I have used. egmail.com, just look at this, it also include, it will also match adgmail.com. Then no issue. Now but this time it will not match. What's the reason behind this? Because in this email, just I have mentioned the 00. One, I have mentioned the 00. What does it mean? Actually, I have break the concept of the pattern because I have used a greedy, right? So it will only match the A to Z characters, but I have mentioned the at, I have mentioned the integer value. So this time it will return the none. That's why the mail is not a valid email. Okay. But if you want to match actually the at the real scene, real scenario, this particular email is a valid email address. So for that, actually just you have to add the integer inside this range as well. So using, instead of using this range, you can also include the 0 to 9. Just what I have done. So this time it will match the greedy, and inside the range you can insert the A to Z. Inside you can also insert the 0 to 9. Okay. So this is the one thing what you have done. So let me execute my program again. Now this time, if I'm going to mention the AD grant 000, so this is a valid email. Okay. And this particular email is also valid. No issue, no exam. Let's exit this one. Now there's a one issue. Let's suppose if I have an email address, okay, inside the email I have a dot at gmail.com. What does it mean? Just I have, now this is the actual valid email address, but according to our pattern, it will not accept the dot, right? Now that's why it will give you the, but still it will give you the valid email address. Just look at the reason actually. So this time when you are trying to type is sachin.sani.com, but this time it will trying to match, it will give you the valid email address. But behind the scene, if you are trying to match, so behind the scene it will only take the sani at gmail.com, because it will search your string in between as well. Okay, that's why you didn't use a match, right? If you are trying to use a search, so now search have a capability to match your pattern in the between of the string. So this time it will remain this particular part, it will try to search from the s2 at gmail.com. That's you have searched here. Now the point is, so if you want to search or if you want to include the dot as well, so for that there's a two thing you have to enter here. So first of all, just you have to put the dot. Okay, this is the one thing what you have to do, insert dot here. Now the one more thing done. So if I'm gonna type sachin.sani at gmail.com, so it's still valid. Okay, now because I have mentioned the dot here, right? That's how it works. Because but this time it will match from the Sachin, not from the Sani. That's how it works, because I have mentioned the dot as well. And now in these number of character you can also include the A to Z, 0 to 9 in the dot. Okay, so that's how it's work, guys. Okay. Actually, I have mentioned the numbers. Just look at this. If you are able to see, I have mentioned A to Z, and this is a number 0 to 9. That's why the ratio is matched, right? So that's how it works. Let's move ahead, guys. There are some sort of example actually you have to understand. If I'm going to type this email address, just let me know it will match or not. Just you can drop your carries into, just you can simply drop your yes or no into the chat box. I'm going to look into it. Okay. Yep. Now this time it will also match. Just look at this. But the point is, behind the scene, it will not include the exclamation at and hash, because you have used a search. So now search is free to search the pattern in string between the match. So that's why only it will include the session at gmail.com. But this is not, actually this is not a standard method, right? If a user will enter this type of email, in the real case, this email is not a valid email address, because you have included the two at sign in the hash as well, which is not included inside the email addresses. So this time what you have to do, so for that, actually I have to use a one more regular expression. And what regular expression I'm talking about, so this particular regular expression is called caret sign. Using the caret sign, you can match the start of the string. Okay, so this is the one thing you have to use. So if you want to match from the starting, just you can simply mention the caret sign here. So when you're gonna mention the caret, so I'm gonna mention the caret here. So when I'm gonna mention the caret, what it will do for you, it will start matching your pattern from the starting of the string, not in the between. So that's how it works. So let me execute. If I'm gonna type this type of email address, this is valid. Okay, but if I'm going to type this type of email, not valid. That's how it's worked, right? That because now it will, this time it will try to match your pattern from the starting. If it will try to match your pattern from the starting, these three characters are not matched inside the pattern. That's why this is not a valid email address. And now, but this is a valid email address if you're going to type anything, because behind the scene just you have match until the com. Okay, so actually you have to match from the end as well, because behind the scene only it will match the sachin@gmail.com, but a user will enter this particular email. So if you want to invalidate this email, just you have to match your pattern from the backend side as well. If you want to match your pattern from the backend, just like you have matched from the starting, just you have to put the dollar sign. Using the dollar, match the end of the string or just before the new line end. Okay, at the ending of the string. That's why the dollar sign is used inside the regular expression. So after the com, just I can simply put this particular regular expression here. I'm going to put the dollar sign. So using the dollar sign, just I can simply match the backend of the string as well. Okay, that's how it works. So now this time, if I'm going to execute this type of email address, okay, this is a valid, right? If I'm going to mention the same email address again with extra characters, so this time it will not match, because just I have add the dollar sign as well. So behind, from the behind of the string, it should be matched, as well as it should be matched from the starting of the string. That's how it works. And sometimes the underscore is also matched, guys, but this time the underscore is not acceptable from your email. Okay, so just you can simply put a one underscore inside your, so that's how it works. Now when you're going to put the underscore here, so it will also match the underscore. Then so that's how it works. Now the one more important thing you have to understand. So let's suppose, took an example, if I'm trying to add an email address, okay, and the inside the email address, let's suppose if I'm gonna put a sachin@gmail.com. Okay, so guys, this is a one email address what I'm trying to use. So just actually you have to all just drop a one answer. If I'm gonna execute this particular email, so it will return a valid email address, or it will return a none. When I'm gonna execute on top of this input, so this particular email is a valid email, or this is an invalid email according to the pattern what I have what I have mentioned here. Just you can drop your answer into the chat box. Let's make this interactive. Actually, I have, there's a multiple answer, and the in the all answers is to have done, you have typed none or invalid, but actually this is a valid email address. Okay, what's the reason behind this? First of all, just look at this. This is a valid email because actually I have using a wrong pattern. What's the wrong inside our pattern? So if you are trying to do, dot is not a string, dot is a special characters. So if I'm trying to mention dot as a special string, so dot is doing their work as a regular expression. You know very well what is the meaning of the dot. If you had remember, I have told multiple times. So it will match any characters except a new line. What I have add here, so instead of new line, just I have add the hash. So hash is a any character, right? So that's why it will give you the valid email. If I'm gonna mention this email as well, either you can also mention the space. Just sorry, just I have mentioned the space here. So using the space, this is email is still valid. Okay, so this is the one thing what I have mentioned here. But the point is, when I'm going to exit, that's how it works. So if you want to resolve this type of thing, so actually instead of using dot, because dot is a one special character which is used for the regular expression, so you have to put the backward slash. So when you are trying to use a backward slash before the dot, so this time it will convert inside a normal string instead of the dot. So this time it will not show the functionality of the regular expression, but this time excuse me, just give me a moment. Hello, am I audible, guys? Hello. Okay, thanks for the confirmation. So just I have used a dot, and before the dot just I have used a backward slash. When I'm trying to use a backward slash, so now the dot will behave like a normal string instead of the regular expression. Okay, now this time dot will not behave like a regular expression. So dot is a give you the one functionality, and now this particular functionality you can simply call the skip sequences. Okay, so these type of thing you can simply use. Now let me show. Let's execute this program, and now this time I'm gonna mention the hash again. Let's execute this. Now this is a invalid. Okay, go this time you have to include the hash. So that's why now that's how it works. Only it will only validate the dot, not anything character, not any character here. That's how it works. Now still there's an issue in our email. If you will match the at least username should be greater than 5, right, or the equivalent to the 5. But in my case, if I'm going to mention this one, if I'm going to mention this one, okay, both of the mail is valid. I have used 2 characters, I have used 4 characters. This is not a valid email in actually, right? So for that, actually just we can simply use a instead of plus. Okay, because plus one is, you have used a one greedy operator here inside the regular expression. It will match until these pattern will work. Now the point is, instead of plus you can simply use another thing. What thing I'm talking about? So just I can simply use a set of curly braces, and inside the set of curly braces just you can define the range of the characters, how many characters you want to make, how many characters you want to match, and all those characters should be from in between range. If you're going to look at here, just I'm going to show you into the help page, and just look at the mn. Okay, that's how it works. Match from m to n repeatance of the preceding of the regular expression. That's how it's work, guys. And now inside the curly braces just you can define the two number of values. The one thing, if you're going to define it 10, so what does it mean? At each and every time you have to enter the 10 number of characters, and all the characters should be belong from this range. Or instead, if you're going to define 5 to 25 or 255, it's your choice according to your requirement. So if I'm going to mention 5 to 25 using the comma, what does it mean? So whenever you're gonna type before the at, this particular pattern should contain at least 5 number of characters and maximum 25 number of characters. Then it will valid, otherwise not. Let me show email. Let's execute same. And now how many characters I have used, guys? 4. And now this is email invalid email address right now. If I'm gonna put the 6 number of character, this time is valid. If I'm gonna put a 1 number of character, still invalid. So that's why if you're gonna increase from the 25, if you're gonna use a 26 number of character here, that particular email address is still not a valid. Okay, that's how the ranges work. Okay, instead of the plus sign, you can also use this particular pattern to match your pattern here. So that's how it works. And now the one more thing that's very well about. So let's take one more example. Instead of this email address, if I have a one email address from the skill center domain, look like this. Okay, but if I'm going to execute, oops, my bad. If I'm going to execute this particular email here, so what it will return? It will return in none, right? Because behind the scene, it will only validate the Gmail. So just if I'm going to execute here, so it will return in none. Your email address is not valid. So here, just you can define the OR condition, and how you can simply use a OR condition. So first of all, just you have to create a group. Okay, because in which group you want to define the OR condition. If you want to create a group, just you can use a set of parentheses. Inside the group, I can simply mention the multiple domain. So from these domain, I can simply mention any one of them. So it will try to search for the Gmail as well. If the Gmail was not there, it will try to search a pattern for the skill center. If the skill center was not there, it will also include the Yahoo as well. So that's how you can match the multiple n number of domain. Just both for that, actually you have to create a one group using the set of parentheses. Inside the parentheses, just you can define using the pine. You don't have to remember all these regular expression. Just you can simply use here, and just you will get the example from here. It creates an array that will match either A or the B. That's how it works, right? So this is a one example what I have to here. Now the point is, oops, just a moment. That's good. Okay, so that's what I have done here. So now this time it will match the Gmail, Skills Center, and the Yahoo as well. Let me execute. Gmail is valid. Spelling should be correct. You know very well. Oops, my bad. Still valid. Yahoo is also valid. If I'm gonna mention the Hotmail, invalid. Only it will valid. It will valid the Yahoo, Skill Center, and the Gmail. That's how the OR operator is work inside the regular expression. That's how it's work, guys. You can also define the multiple grouping as well. Now the one more thing. Okay, you can solve this type of problem using this method. The next thing what I have to mention here, let's suppose took one more example, what example I'm talking about. If I'm going to execute this program again, okay, and this time if I'm going to mention this email address, what happened? Okay, so if I'm going to execute this email address look like this, so what does it mean? So actually this is a invalid, okay, because at least you have to contain one dot here, only one dot, and after dot exactly you have to define the comma. But this time I have mentioned the dot co dot in. Okay, and you have a n number of domain as well. So if you want to define this type of pattern, for that actually what you can simply include here, so let me show. So instead of define dot com exactly, you can also define this type of pattern. Just look at this. You can define A to Z, and what range you can simply use 2 to 3. You can also use a one more dot, A to Z. Let me close the chat box and define the range 2 to 3. Okay, what I have done, just look at this. So I have included, this is a one which will manage the core, and this particular pattern will manage the in. Okay, that's I have done here. Let's execute this. It will match, no issue, no error. But the point is, sorry, if I'm going to execute this line, this time it will return a none. This particular email will not be valid anymore, because if you're going to execute inside this email address, you have a one single dot here. But in the previous one, actually you have a dot dot, because actually in your pattern, you are trying to match two number of dots. After the dot, you have a one domain. After the dot, actually you have another domain as well. At the subdomain, you can simply say. The point, both the dots should be there. Okay, so that's why this particular email is not valid, but I have to create that type of condition. Both are valid, both the email should be valid, right? So on that time you have to use a one type of operator. So if you're going to use a one question mark, actually forget the name of this operator, don't worry. So what I'm trying to do, so just I have defined a one another group using the set of parentheses. Just look at this. Okay, and after this, just you can define the question mark. So this is the one operator you can simply use inside the regular expression, and using the question mark. So what it will do for you, if this particular part will match inside the pattern, that's fine, it will also true. If this particular part will not there, on that condition is still also true. Okay, now the existence of this pattern inside the string in both of case will be true. That's why you can simply use a question mark there. Okay, and for which just I have defined a one group. Okay, and this question mark will be work only for this particular group what I have selected here, because this is a I have defined a one group using a set of parentheses. Let's execute this time. Gmail.com valid dot in valid. Both of time, either you can also use .org .in valid. Okay, and all of them now that's valid. That's how it works. What does it mean? Because at the earlier time this particular part was not there, that's why it will ignore and it will return it true. This time both the part was there, but I have used a question mark. In both condition it will return it true. So that's how these operators are work inside the Python. These how these regular expression is work inside the Python. And now you can simply drop your queries, guys. And now this is the one, actually you can learn multiple type of regular expression as well according to your requirement. Okay, this is the one very basic pattern I have shown. Okay, if you want a very good expertise on top of the regular expression, so I would like to recommend the one website you can simply use. which website I'm talking about. If you want to use this website, let me show. Don't be confused. So the website name, you can simply use a regex 101. Okay, using this particular website, you will get a one expertise on top of the regular expression. Just you can simply drop your text, okay, sample text or sample test string. Just you can drop your regular expression here. Which method you're gonna use, just you can define here. Let's suppose if you are talking about the Python, just click on Python. Okay, if you want a good practice on top of regular expression, then you can do the practices here. Okay, okay, now the point, you are trying to use a match, that's cool. Either you can simply use different pattern, which function you want to use, right? And which flavor you are trying to use Python. So just you have to drop your test string here. If you have a multiple email address, just look at this. Okay, so if you have a multiple email address, so just I'm going to type one more. These are the emails what I have written. This is a test string. Okay, now if you want to create a one regular expression for that, just actually you have to define your regular expression here for text here. So you know very well what regular expression you're going to define. So the one more thing, guys, I'm going to tell you. Okay, if you want to create a short regular expression, instead of define this again and again, just you can simply create a one shortcut for that. What does it mean? So instead of define this again and again, just you can simply use a capital W or the small w. So that these are the things you can simply use. If I'm going to show, just look at this. If you will discuss about the small backward slash w, so instead of define this particular range, so this range equivalent to the backward slash w. So the point is, if you're going to write this particular pattern again and again, okay, just you have to write n number of characters. So instead of this, you can simply write the backward slash w. So the backward slash w will equivalent to this range. Inside this range, you have include the small characters, upper characters, and the integer. That's how it works. There's a multiple characters. Either you can also use a backward slash d. Only inside the d, you would be able to manage the integer value. You can also use a capital W. In case of capital W, it will give you the complement. What is the meaning? Actually, it will return, either you can simply say it will invert the result. Instead of matching these characters, it will match the spatial number of characters. That's how this works. So the point what I'm trying to telling you, if you're going to use a backward slash W, that's how it works. You can define the at. So what pattern you have matched, just look at this. What group you have matched. So when you are trying to use this one, so you have matched the full match and all these things, you will explanation, good explanation here. That's how it works. Instead of define capital W, you can also use the same range what you have mentioned there, A to Z. Okay, you can define 0 to 9. So you will get a one best practice for the regular expression using this website. Okay, the website name is regex 101. You can simply use to get a better practice for the regular expression. And now if you want this code, just you can simply click here. Okay, code generator, and you will get the code what actually I have done there. Just look at this. This is a text expression. You can also use a find iteration. There's a n number of things you can simply do. So these are the things, guys, you can simply use. So let me open the chat box. You have dropped the messages there. Okay, so okay, so yes, what do you want to explain again? Just let me know. Yes, I have tried. Yeah, it's nice. That's cool, guys. And now this is what we have done inside the expression. You can simply, you have to do the good practice for that now. And you will get this particular source code from this GitHub repository. Just you can simply follow this path, and the repository name will be the skill center. Okay, and you will get the all codes what I have written here from there. Okay, I'm gonna push all the codes there. If you have still any doubt, just let me know. Just you can drop your message into the chat box. Okay, you're talking about the question mark. Actually, the question mark will used for if that particular pattern was present, if that particular pattern will present inside the string. If the pattern will not present inside the string, in both case the condition is true. That's why I have used a question mark there. Okay, so let me add all the thing. Let me commit regular expression. Okay, and get push. And now just I have push all the codes, guys. That's cool. Done. You will get the code from the GitHub repository. That's wrap up this session for right now. Goodbye.